My work ethic kind of put me in a position that I could be a quality backup.
Stayed cool and kept us together. Doug Peterson.
I had a chance to work, obviously, with Brett Favre, for 8 years in Green Bay, and those last couple kind of got my coaching juices flowing a little bit.
The career backup took the road less traveled to an NFL job, starting in high school where he coached Calvary Baptist in Shreveport, Louisiana.
And kind of the theme all week was finish. Finish the play, finish the quarter, finish the game. And that's what they did. They came out and played extremely hard and extremely well in this ball game.
His former coach, Andy Reid, offered him an NFL position with the Eagles in 2009. Peterson followed Reid to Kansas City in 2013. And just 3 years later, he landed himself a head coaching job.
This organization hasn't won in quite some time. It's my job to turn that around. And you do it one day at a time. You do it one player at a time, you do it one coach at a time.
With a lengthy rebuild seemingly ahead, Peterson was viewed by many as nothing more than a temporary placeholder.
There's always doubt, there's always skepticism. I knew there were going to be articles written. Nobody knew who I was. I had no previous coaching experience. I was just a coordinator, a position coach. He's been with Andy Reid for so long, and Andy, basically said, here's Philadelphia, go hire Doug Peterson.
Andy was one valuable voice amongst many.
It reminded me of what they said when we hired Andy Reid. The worst coaching hire. He never really called the plays. What were they thinking?
Everybody basically, said that I was going to be a one and done.
That underdog thing that came along with that team, it started with our coach.
We're going to come to work every day. As coaches, it's our job to make you better.
The first thing he did was tell me about the coaches on your staff. And he didn't care where they came from. He didn't say, I need my guys in these positions. He said, if you guys feel that strongly about these guys, I want to keep them.
Peterson kept 6 assistant coaches from the staff of the departed Chip Kelly.
I felt like I had hired a really good staff. I wanted, obviously on the defensive side, somebody like Jim Schwartz, who had former head coaching in his background. And so it kind of gave me a level of comfort. I knew the defense was going to be taken care of with a guy like Jim. The other thing, too, was making sure that the quarterback position was right. That was kind of the first task when I hired, D. Filippo and Frank Reich as my offensive coordinator. 3 guys that have been around quarterbacks. We had to make sure that our quarterback position was right.
One of the coolest things about going there was having a chance to draft a quarterback, to go in saying, hey, we're looking for the quarterback of the future of this franchise. We just traveled the country working out these top quarterbacks to try to find the guy that would fit the Philadelphia Eagles.
What's the first thing that's going through your mind?
Well, I'm seeing the boundary safety.
During those travels, it was really evident that Carson Wentz was the guy.
Middle, so it's one hand working the interior.
Once we identified the franchise quarterback that we were interested in, how do you go from 13 to get up there? It took a 2-step process. Brilliant.
GM Howie Roseman pulled off 2 trades to get the number 2 pick, and the Eagles had their future in place.
With the second pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Carson Wentz, quarterback, North Dakota State.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Hey,
I'm excited.
All I was thinking about today was when you were here in the building, and the way we finished our meeting, and we were like, man, we'd love to have you in this room, and you looked at us and said, hey, make it happen.
Carson Wentz showed promise in his first year, but the head coach was criticized often and had fans openly wondering if he would be the guy to lead this team to a Super Bowl.
They kept it conservative, and Ryan Matthews lost it.
You know what? The Eagles coach is a moron. He's a moron. I don't want to hear about how great Doug Peterson is a coach. He stinks.
You learn from your rookie season. There were some bumps that first year.
That's the last thing they wanted to happen. That turns what would have been a 40-some-odd yard field goal into something a little bit more difficult.
Doug Peterson, you ruined this game. You blew it. It's quite obvious.
A little surprised by this decision by Doug Peterson that, on the road you get a chance to make it a one-possession game with a field goal. Let's settle for the 3 points.
Here's Wentz. There's nothing out there, and Wentz is swallowed up.
That play did not have a chance right from the start.
I mean, they were tough on him. He never batted an eye. He never sweat. He just kept moving.
Getting a Chip Kelly feeling about Doug Peterson.
I mean, I knew in my heart, I knew the type of play caller I wanted to be and I was going to be. And I learned from the first year from the standpoint of, look, if I'm going to make a decision for the team in game, I better spend time in the off season and in training camp going through that situation with the guys so that when we're, in a game and it comes up, we've been there before.
Doug Peterson needs to fix his act, man. He needs to fix his act right quick, or he's going to be right gone, and we're just going to become the Browns of the league.
In a 2017 Week 2 loss to his mentor, Peterson called 56 pass plays to just 13 run plays.
I think the running game has to be more productive to make life easier for Wentz. You have to have the threat of being able to gash that other team.
Completely agree.
That's not a balance for success. It starts with me as a play caller. By no means do I want to throw the ball that many times, but we got to get the run game fixed. For me, the decision to continue to throw was, looking back on it now, was obviously not the right decision. We're all going to make mistakes in this business, but you have to learn from them.
Eliminate the mistakes. All 3 phases. And you come out on top of these games. And it's a little different feeling in here, in the dressing room.
Following the game, Peterson was approached by his own players' council, who requested he adjust his play calling. Their plea did not fall on deaf ears.
He established a leadership council right away in his tenure, so when players come to him with suggestions, he's open to them.
It was great to get the feedback from the guys. It was positive. It was constructive.
It was pretty cool to see, Doug really embrace kind of the players' feedback and really put it to use and really took it to heart.
What does that say about the head coach? I think when you're a coach, you have this mindset that we're going to do it my way. Everything's going to be that's not going on here.
Everybody needs to talk and make sure that you know what's going on.
Right.
And that's something that we've struggled with before.
Yeah. It's not my way or the highway philosophy. It's a collaborative effort. It always has been, always will be. We just got to get it fixed. No ifs, ands, or buts. We got to go to work.
So we got to run the ball. What's that? We got to run the ball. Yeah.
The following week, the Eagles ran the ball a season-high 39 times for 193 yards.
It goes to Clement. Clement outside. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He's in the end zone. Corey Clement.
But it was a last-second pass play that may have saved the season.
24 apiece. 7 seconds left. Ball at the 38. Wentz takes the snap. He's looking, fires on the far side, and it's caught, stepping out of bounds with 1 second as Alshon Jeffrey.
Field goal.
Coach puts a very high emphasis on what we call our mock game, and we always practice, 2 or 3 of those situations each week, whether it be a Hail Mary pass into the end zone, whether it be the Olay call like that was.
As a coach, it was really neat because we harp on this kind of stuff all the time. I feel like we wear it out. You rep it over and over again. And these are the kind of plays that you might only run 3-4 times a year.
Timeout. We still got a timeout. We got the same thing, gun tray left, a bunch.
Coach Reich had made a coaching point on that play the week before that he wanted Nelson to get more vertical on his route. If he would have gone right to the flat, I'm not sure the corner would have bid up like he did, which would have allowed us to make that throw to Alshon.
That's really was indicative of the whole year. There was a trust factor, there was a attention to detail, and then there was a consistency in the approach of preparation that led to that kind of a moment.
He can hit this?
This is a 61-yard field goal attempt. Ball is spotted. The kick is away. And the kick is...
When it came off his foot, I felt real good about it. And then I would say the hard thing about being a coach is as soon as it goes through the uprights, you're already worried about the next week, you know? So it's like, gosh, I mean, that's the coach's life.
There's a lot of twists and turns in this season.
What a game!
Who knows if we miss that and they beat us in overtime? Does it ding our confidence? Are we still a good football team?
Great job, bro. Great job.
Last year, we weren't so fortunate in these types of games, right?
I do think it was a turning point.
That gives you a little glimpse of where we can go.
It just created some momentum for us, I believe, that we just carried all the way through.
So I was starting to feel it, and then lost the franchise quarterback.
Wentz on first down. Looks. He's going to run. Penalty flag thrown as Wentz goes into the end zone.
Howie sort of tapped me on the shoulder and whispered to me, because didn't want anyone else in the box to hear, and he goes, "It's a knee." And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's a knee? And he said, yeah, they think it's an ACL. And it was like heartbreaking.
Eagles are reporting it is a left knee injury. He is done for today. We do not know the severity of the knee injury, but I can tell you, as I was standing back by that Eagles locker room, all the support staff that was back there with Carson Wentz all walked out just shaking their heads.
I was like, oh my gosh, the MVP of the National Football League just went down.
You know, this team's been resilient all season long.
We clinched the NFC East that night. It was a somber locker room. It was a little bit of a somber plane ride home. Inside, in my gut, I was crushed. You know, there were a few tears shed when we got off the plane in my house. For this to happen to our team and to him, there was a moment there where it was really, really hard.
I'll never forget sitting in my office on Monday, and I got a text message from my son, and it's a picture that I actually have in my basement from a concert I went to as a player in Green Bay. And it said, one man can make a difference, but a team can make a miracle. And I totally forgot about it. And it hit me, you know, like a ton of bricks. Like, man, that's it. That's totally it. Bring a little juice today. Bring a little energy today. I walked in. Man, I was energetic. You know, I'm sure people are looking at me like, this guy's crazy. Because we're sitting here 11-2. Can I tell you this? If you after we win this game Sunday, after we win this game, you got a first-round bye. Then I shared the quote, the picture, and I says, my son sent me this picture, and I says, one man can make a difference. Carson Wentz can make a difference. Jason Peters can make a difference. Darren Sproles, I went through the whole list. Yeah, these guys can make a difference, but it's this team in this room that's going to make a miracle the rest of the season.
But heading into Week 15 with a backup quarterback, most were thinking there would be no fairy tale ending.
It was like the collective football world had completely written off the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I'm sure there were one or two people maybe who believed, but I'm not sure about that. I think it was 100% the Eagles are finished.
The last quarterback to start in the postseason for the Eagles was Nick Foles in 2013. Prior to the 2017 season, the Eagles decided to bring him back to Philadelphia.
When we had the discussion, and Coach Peterson and Jeffrey, and we had to make this call, I remember just the three of us talking about, you know, it's a playoff game. Do we have confidence Nick Foles can come in and win? And this is literally the conversation. And we all turned to each other and said, no doubt.
The Eagles' first playoff game was still weeks away. But it didn't take long for Foles to prove it was the right decision.
Nick is like a maniac as far as wanting to throw the ball down the field. So I think from a play caller standpoint, you know, Doug did a great job of giving Nick a lot of opportunities to throw the ball down the field.
Firing, wide open, touchdown! Foles fires, and it is caught! Aguilar, touchdown! And the Eagles are now 12-2. They are one win away from a bye throughout